wish I would have called you. No, I can't school. That's right. Next.
I think, well, that was public input, so they're gonna change it. That's the, well, I don't see any.
They call it that.
No, there's a bunch of people up there. We're going to Napa for a wedding in the middle of October too. Wine country.
Great job.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah, we just-
Time being 7 o'clock, I'd like to call the town council to order for the town of Copper Canyon, September 12th, 2022. If you'd all please stand and face the flag and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honoring the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, and indivisible. First order of business tonight is public input. Anybody in the audience may speak at this time for a period of 3 minutes on an agenda or non-agenda item. If they have additional time needed, that may be granted by consensus of council. Don't believe we have anyone to speak tonight. Is that correct? Okay. Next item, time being 7:02, the council will go into a recess and we will reconvene into executive session in about 2 minutes. We will return shortly thereafter.
You've been working hard? Hardly working. Machine focus.
You know about that?
Time being 7:23, council will has adjourned from executive session, and we are reopening open session. Next item of business is consideration of any action to take from executive session. There is none. The next item is mayoral proclamation. So this one is, well, they're all very special. This is really special. Whereas Paula Castile has organized, oversees an amazing group of volunteers who help make their community safer and stronger by participating in the Neighborhood Watch program. Whereas the neighbors who know and look out for each other create the strongest future and the safer neighborhood. Whereas Crime Watch units and the community around the common goal and increases the neighborhood concession. Whereas the Neighborhood Watch program reduces fear of crime in our community. In addition to the Neighborhood Watch program, Paula has organized programs such as CPR classes for the residents of Copper Canyon and assisted in organizing the mayor's annual crime prevention events. Whereas Paula delivers packets to new residents, welcoming them to Copper Canyon and encourages them to participate in the town program and keep the Copper Canyon safer place to live. Now, therefore, I, Ron Robertson, Mayor of Copper Canyon, do hereby proclaim September 12th, 2022 as Paula Castile Day in the town of Copper Canyon, and do commence this observance to all our citizens. All right, next item, council. I do have a bit of a report I'd like to make. The Buttons are here tonight. Thank you for being here. As you know, back in, the reason I'm doing this is to keep you informed and get your direction to whether you want me to move forward with talks or not. So I have, as I said during the work session, a workshop that this town's center zoning really have a meaning anymore. Recently, I met along with Councilmember Liebert, Chairman of the P&Z, Mark Pate, with Mr. and Miss Buttons, who own the largest portion of the property in Copper Canyon that's part of town center. And we talked about ideas of how that their property would benefit the town in the future and what their ideas of how they'd like to see their land actually developed. Currently today, if you take the 25 acres of land that the Buttons own that's in town center, they have a total of 140 acres, I believe, that that potentially is 40 plus 1/3 acre homes if you did the town center zoning of 1/3 acre house potential. We talked about commercial on their property. We talked about the balance of their property. We came up with some ideas, and one idea that we have, and it's strictly talking right now, there's no decisions. There hasn't been any other communications with this. We are working, I'll get into that a little bit here on another item with the help them out, but to take part of their property that's on the frontage of 407 and just zone it commercial, for retail commercial, like, I don't know, we talked about 12, 13, 15 acres, something like that. Then the balance of their property, along with part of their property, that's the rest of their property that is RE2 currently, is to go ahead and to look at the possibilities of this zoning at all RE1. So we would take some RE2 away, but we would end up taking away 40 possible 1/3 acre lots as well. So if you want myself, and then there's a corner of property that has been brought up many times. Does not belong to the Buttons. I believe it did at one time. That's right on the corner of Copper Canyon Road and 407. I called the developers who own that property, used to own that property, and discussed, and I talked directly to Tony Vergara, who's in charge of that, or was in charge of it with Lantana Republic Properties. And that property really is not able to develop. That was his quote unquote to me. They had looked at many different options, and that corner is just not something that they can make work. So he gave me who now owns that property, which is the Foster Group. That's a real estate investment company who owns the property along with what's across the road. I have given that information to Mr. and Miss Button along with Donna to have them make contact with those people to see if there's any way that that property could come back into the town and back into the Buttons possessions, because that would be an excellent egress and entrance to the Buttons property right at a stoplight. So I'm asking, and then on Wednesday, Mark and I and Chase, if you can make it, we're meeting with the other 8 acre property owner that is on 407. That I don't know that he even knows what his property, what he has there yet. So we're going to communicate with him. But I think the Buttons as well as myself are looking for a nod from the council. Do you want us to pursue the possibilities of dissolving the town center and bringing their zone, put actual zoning on their property? And they have yet to make a decision. They're still debating what they would like to do, but we do have, I think we have we talked and we have a mutual understanding of what we both want, I think, for the town. So I'm looking for input. If you want me to move forward with these talks along with Chase and with Mark, I do nothing standalone. I will, and if you think it's not a good idea, then we won't. So,
Ron, I would pursue your thinking on this with the Buttons. You know, the town center idea was created in 2004, 2005, when we were trying to figure out what was the right thing to do in the 407 corridor. At the time, the Vickery parents were very involved in that, and they had asked for that to be commercial. And I think, you know, it's been a tortuous evolution of what we should do with that corridor. And I think, and I've asked this a number of times when I would see, you know, the different master plan variations, and I said, has anybody talked to the Buttons? They own this land. And never got an answer on that. And I commend you for reaching out to them, because at the end of the day, it's their property and we should respect. It's not that we have to do what they want, but we need to listen to them and to do the right thing. I believe in private property rights, and I would encourage you for John.
any other opinions?
I also believe in property rights, and I think this is an avenue that needs to be explored so that we can really understand the validity of the whole thing as an aggregate rather than just a piecemeal situation, and what our options really could be.
Yep. Chase was in that meeting.
Might as well chime in here. I think that kind of discussion, it takes me back a little bit to when we were doing the master plan and reworking it. We had half the town in here playing with maps and drawing what they wanted. And I think that if we could take some of those 1/3 acre zoning spaces and convert them to 1 acre zoning spaces, you'll be a hero. I mean, I think that a lot of the folks in town would much rather prefer that than 1/3 acre homes or, you know, all commercial, which frankly and I'm no expert in real estate or anything, but if by this time, after a very successful real estate season, we don't have any commercial there, it's not likely we're going to get a whole lot of commercial coming in. I mean, the shops in the Highland Village have difficulty keeping all their slots filled. So I think that it's very beneficial to the town, the way the citizens want to keep it on a more open space, larger lots. I think it's a great way to go. And if there's a little give and take between your 2-acre zone property, we can look at that and see, you know, something that would be a win-win for both the town and for you as the landowners.
Yeah, Rudy, the other thing, and you know, I've lived down here for 25 years now. The topography on their property is unique. I mean, it's truly beautiful, beautiful land. And if you put 1-acre lots in there, it will be spectacular.
Can you ever remember, there's not going to be a postal stamp, 1 acre, where you have 1.3,
Right.
1.25, you're going to have 1.47, you're going to have, you know, they're not just going to be all one because of the way the roads are cut or a creek or whatever the case may be. So that's why we need to, at some point, whenever someone was to buy it, they would do a master plan. But this right now is a zoning issue. How do we take and kill town center stigma of 3rd-acre development and make it worth something for the property owners and for the town that works? And 1 acre is the answer to that. So I'll move forward with discussions with them. I think you've heard that there's a positive note for you to take back, and glad we're here to hear it. So thank you for it.
Ron, I would encourage, because I'm reminded in the last year, if you have productive conversations and if the landowners are receptive, I would encourage action sooner rather than later. Because remember, every 2 years, there's an election and it's a heated issue. So I would not sit on this. If you're inclined and you're able to move the discussions forward and be able to bring something to council and T&Z, I really would encourage that. This is not something that we should sit on and, you know, I would take action.
As I said, I'll be meeting with the other property owner Wednesday afternoon. So, all right, thank you, council, for your input on that. The other item tonight is reminding the people of the citizens of the cleanup day, October 1st, Saturday, from 8 o'clock to 11:30. Information is on the town website. Tonight, the tax rate ordinance requires a record vote, by the way, so a recorded vote. Anything else, staff report? No. Any questions, Donna, Braylon? Next item is public hearing. Public hearing tonight is the town council will conduct a public hearing on their proposed operation and capital improvement budget for the fiscal year 2022-2023. Anyone in favor of speaking in favor or opposition of the 2022-2023 budget? Hearing none, I will close the public hearing. We go to consent agenda. Any item on the consent agenda may be removed by any member of council for individual discussion or consideration. Council, is there anything on the consent agenda that needs changed or that needs to be removed for individual discussion? Hearing none, I will ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I move that we approve items 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the consent agenda.
I have a motion by Council Member Johnson. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second by the Deputy Mayor Pro Tem. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, motion carries. Next item is discussion consideration of taking action regarding a joint interlocal corporation agreement with the Law Enforcement Patrol Services between Denton County and the town of Copper Canyon, Texas, commencing on October 1st, 2022, continuing to September 30th, 2023. Deputy Mayor Pro Tem, any comments on this?
No, sir, just the contract has not changed in substance. It's pretty much the only things that were added to it were just clarifications about the contractual requirements, both of the town and of the sheriff's department. And it's been through our legal, and there's really not much change to it at all.
All right, that, Jared, entertain a motion. A motion by Councilmember Andrews. I have a second.
I'll second.
I have a second by Deputy Mayor Pro Tem. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, motion carries. Next item is discussion and consideration of taking action regarding ordinance 22-009, amending chapter 13 of the utility and adding article 13.06 of the cable and video franchise council. This is just a franchise renewal agreement, I believe. Is that correct, Donna?
This is the original agreement with Spectrum, which provides internet and cable to Toll Brothers Vickery.
Okay. Any questions? Because I don't have any answers if you have one.
Well, I just had a question, actually, if I could ask
Sure.
Donna. I'm glad to see that another operator is coming in to Vickery. And my question is there anything preventing, say, a different operator than, say, Frontier to come up to the north side of 407 and also offer services so that the folks in town have an option between a couple of different carriers? Is there anything preventing us from doing that, or are there logistical problems?
I have a legal question. Bob is Bob Hager, the town's attorney, will be here Thursday, and that's one of the questions I have for him. I do have a meeting next week with Clemon Maddox, who's over Spectrum, just to see what options we might have.
I just think it would be nice to be able to offer folks in town a couple of options so that they could choose who they want carrying their services.
Now, Spectrum actually is, remember we used to have Charter, and then we had anyone Verizon, but Spectrum's a
Thank you.
So we should, any other council? Not, I entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we take action on ordinance 22-009, adding the new cable and video franchise for
I
Vickery.
have a motion by the Deputy Mayor Pro Tem. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second by Councilmember Liebert. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous, motion carries. Next item has been asked to be removed until the October meeting. This would have been the code of conduct ordinance. Right now, needs a little more legal review. Correct, Larry?
Yes, we will definitely have this on the agenda for October.
Next item is discussion, consideration, taking action in review the sewer rates by adding a maximum gallons per month. Council had a fun time with one new citizen of Vickery that just moved in, and we were charging them whatever sewer rate that what Cross Timbers would give us in their water rate. So they were watering their new lawns and putting in their new landscapes, and our sewer rate was based on usage, total usage, which their sewer rate was $175, I think, was a month for the use of sewer. So actually what we're asking here is that we're going to cap the sewer rate at 10,000 gallons.
right, that'll come out to about $75. That's in line with what cities do around here, but I did contact Rex Tellis in Austin, who did the original study, and they backed that up.
Right.
10,000 a month.
So what that will do, and we did overcharge some of the citizens, and we will be giving them back a credit over the next couple of months against their bills, so that they get square and get whole on that. Any questions on that? If not, I entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we revise the sewer rates to include a maximum gallons per month of, would you say 10,000 gallons?
10,000 gallons, yes. I have a motion by the Mayor Pro Tem, second.
I second the motion.
Second by Councilmember Andrews, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous, motion carries. Next item is discussion, consider and taking action on approval of an ordinance 22-012, adopting the town's budget of the 2022-2023, including the fiscal year operating and maintenance O&M budget, and capital improvement budget, and crime prevention budget. Council, this will be a roll call vote. Any questions on the budget? Hearing none, council, to entertain a motion to approve. Do we have a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve ordinance 22012, adopting the town budget for 2022, 2023.
I have a motion by Councilmember Johnson. Do I have a second?
I'll second, and that's 22-013.
I have a motion by Councilmember Lieber. Okay, Councilmember Lieber, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Johnson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Pro Tem, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Andrews, how do you vote?
Aye.
Unanimous, motion carries. Next item is discussion, consideration, taking action on approval of ordinance 22-013, adopting the ad valorem operating and maintenance property tax rate at 22.0738. And in the 2021 ad valorem debt tax service rate at 0.056767. Again, council, this will require a roll call vote. Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve ordinance 22-013.
I have a motion by Councilmember Liebert. Is there a second?
I'll second.
I have a second by the Deputy Mayor Pro Tem. Roll call vote. Councilmember Liebert.
Aye.
Councilmember Johnson.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Pro Tem.
Aye.
Councilmember Andrews.
Aye.
Unanimous, motion carries. Next item is discussion and consideration of taking action regarding the sewer construction reimbursement agreement and wastewater agreement as amended by and among the town of Copper Canyon and PM Vickery Family Limited Partnership LP et al. Council, this went to you last meeting. This question was divided into three. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what the division was, because if you do not extend this, the other two items that were discussed, which was the interest and the I guess the assessment of the amount is mute. You have an opinion by the city attorney on his opinion on this. I think it's time to either move forward and allow this, or put it to bed and let it sunrise. If you remember the opinion, this sunrise is at May 16th, 2026, I believe. So there's still 4 years on this current agreement. Discussion?
Well,
Sunset.
I was one of the two council members that Chase and I sat in with Donna and the council and our legal counsel. And after a lot of discussion and reading and soul searching, I think I've come to the conclusion that, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we, if it's time to do that, but anyway, I don't see reason to extend it.
You make a motion, sir. I'll accept your motion and find a second for you.
Well, I do make a motion that we not extend the water reimbursement agreement as requested by the Vickery Family Limited Partnership. And it's dated April 12th, 2013. And it was accepted on May 9th, 2016, which means it will expire on April 9th on 2026. So we got between now, today, and May 9th, 26, and that's the expiration date.
I have a motion by Councilmember Andrews.
Second the motion.
I have a second by Councilmember Liebert. Any more discussion? Hearing no more discussion, I'd entertain, all in favor to deny.
Aye.
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 Unanimous, motion carries. Next item is discussion on, or decision on future agenda items. Council, anybody anything to put on the next agenda? Hearing none, time being 7:46, Chair entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn, Mayor.
I have a motion by Deputy Mayor Pro Tem, a second.
Second.
I have a second by Councilmember Johnson. All in favor to adjourn.
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous, motion carries. Thank you.